Have you ever wondered how your phone or laptop connects to internet automatically the moment you join the Wi-Fi, or how the website you visit keeps your login details safe while shopping online? Behind the scenes, a set of network protocols quietly make all these possible. Today, we'll explore three essential protocols: DHCP, HTTP, and HTTPS, and also see how cybersecurity plays a crucial role in keeping these communications safe. So let's start with DHCP. DHCP, or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, is a network protocol that automatically assigns IP address and other configuration settings to device when they connect to a network. It uses UDP port 67 for the server and UDP port 68 for the client. DHCP provides a centralized way to manage network settings, so network administrators do not have to configure each device manually. For example, in a school Wi-Fi network, when a student turns on the laptop or mobile phone, the device sends a request to the DHCP server asking for an IP address. The server responds with an available IP and other necessary network details, allowing the device to access the internet instantly. So without DHCP, every device would need manual configurations, which can be a tedious and prone to errors. Imagine a user turns on their laptop and connects to the Wi-Fi using the username and password. So at this moment, the laptop doesn't have an IP address, so it cannot communicate on the network. So to function properly, the laptop needs several network parameters such as IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS settings. So these arrangements are required for device to communicate with other device and access the internet. So already within the network, there are already three users, user 1, user 2, and user 3, which are already connected with the laptops. Now there is a user 4 trying to connect to this particular network. So to obtain this network setting, the client laptop sends a DHCP Discover message to find a DHCP server. Since the client doesn't know the server address yet, the message is broadcasted to all the devices on the network. So the message will be broadcasted to all the devices on the network, user 1, 2, 3, and the router. So let's say these are the three different IP addresses for those three different users. These IP addresses are already in use and cannot be assigned again. So whenever the user 4 sends a broadcast, these particular IP address will be not assigned to user 4. So there will be other IP address which will be assigned to that particular user 4. So the DHCP Discover message is sent from UDP port 68 to UDP port 67. So in this case, the Wi-Fi router acts as a DHCP server. So the DHCP server receives the Discover message on UDP port 69 and checks its IP address pool. So it selects an IP address that is not already assigned to another device. So these particular IP address which have been already assigned to three different devices will not be assigned to user 4. So there will be a new IP address which will be assigned to user 4. In this case, it will be 2.7 since it is available. The server then sends DHCP offer message back to the client. The message is sent from UDP port 67 to UDP port 68 and contains the offered IP address along with other network configuration details. After receiving the offer, the client sends DHCP request message to confirm that it wants to use the offered IP address. So the message is sent again from UDP port 68 to UDP port 67. So this step is important because it clearly indicates that the client accepts the offered IP address, helping to avoid IP address conflicts with other devices on the network. So this particular IP address will be assigned to user 4. Finally, a DHCP server sends a DHCP acknowledgement message to the client from UDP port 67 to 68. This message confirms the IP address assignment is complete and provides all required network settings, including the subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server information. At this point, the client laptop is fully configured and can successfully communicate on the network and access the internet. So this is how DHCP works. DHCP can be exploited by attackers through DHCP spoofing or rogue DHCP servers, which may assign malicious IP addresses to device and redirect network traffic. So to protect against this, networks often implement DHCP snooping, network access control, and monitoring to ensure only legitimate DHCP servers assign addresses. Now let's talk about HTTP, or Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Is used to transfer web page data like text, images, and videos from web server to web browser. It operates over TCP port 80 and sends data in a clear text, which means the information is not protected and could potentially be intercepted by attackers. When the user types a website in a browser, the laptop needs to find where this particular website is in the internet. Since the laptop only knows the domain name, it first asks DNS server. So in this case, Wi-Fi acts as a local DNS resolver to convert the name into the IP address. Let's say the DNS server replies with an IP, for example, 203 dot some number. So I just started X here, which is the location of the web server hosting this particular website. So once the IP is known, the browser sends an HTTP request to the server using the TCP port 80. This request asks the server to send a web page contents. So once the IP is known, the browser sends an HTTP request to the server using the port 80. Once the IP is known, the browser sends an HTTP request to the server using TCP port 80. So this request asks the server to send a web page content. The server receives the request and prepares the HTML, images and other resources and sends them back to the browser over the same port. The browser then renders the page and the user sees the website. Since HTTP is not encrypted, all the data travels in plain text. This means anyone monitoring the network would see what pages the user is visiting or even capture information like login credentials. It is vulnerable to eavesdropping, man-in-the-middle attacks, and data tampering. So sensitive information such as login credentials or personal details can be intercepted by attackers. For this reason, HTTP should be avoided for sensitive transactions and users should always prefer secure HTTPS connections. Now let's talk about HTTPS, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Is the secure version of HTTP. It uses TLS encryption to ensure that data transferred between a web server and the browser is confidential, authentic, and tamper-proof, operating over TCP port 443. So when the user types the website, the process is similar but much more secure. The browser first performs DNS lookup to get the server's IP just like HTTP. Then, before sending the actual request, the browser and the server performs a TLS handshake. This step sets up encryption keys so that all communications between the browser and the server is secure. After the handshake, the browser sends HTTPS request to the server over TCP port 443 and the server sends back the encrypted response. The browser decrypts the data and displays the website. HTTPS ensures that even if someone intercepts the network traffic, they cannot read or modify the data, and the browser can verify that it is actually communicating with the real server and not the fake one. This is why sensitive activities like online banking or shopping should always use HTTPS. So even if there is someone who is using tools like Wireshark or other tools, they cannot actually see what's going on because it's already encrypted. So HTTPS protects against eavesdrop, data tampering, and identity theft. By encrypting communication, websites that implement HTTPS also use TLS certificates to verify their authenticity, helping users ensure they are connecting to legitimate server. Proper implementation of HTTPS along with strong encryption standards is critical to maintaining data privacy and trust on the internet. So I hope you understood the concept of today's video. If you've liked the video, please click the like button below and subscribe for more such videos. And also feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.